The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Hello students, welcome back. During exam, I was able to converse with all of you. Most of you have done the exams well. Now we have completed 5 chapters. In the previous chapter, we learnt about culture and nationalism of India. Today, let us move on to the next chapter, struggle and freedom. Look at the snippet from the book, My Experiments with Truth by Gandhiji, given in your textbook. Read it. Here are some lines from a chapter, Stain of Indigo, in Gandhiji's autobiography, My Experiments with Truth. From this, we can understand the situation of the farmers in Champaran and how the indigo farmers were exploited by the British. Through these words, in his autobiography, Gandhiji details the circumstances that made him participate in the indigo farmers' protest at Champaran in Bihar in 1917. He started his social activities in India, intervening in the problems faced by the indigo farmers in Champaran. Gandhiji's early struggles were all based on local and economic issues. Gandhiji adopted methods of struggle such as non-violence, ahimsa and satyagraha. Gandhiji received with the help of local leaders. Gandhiji's method of struggle made him an acceptable leader. Let us see how Gandhiji could gain the trust and recognition of the common people of India. The agitations he conducted in South Africa, his lifestyle as a common man, food, clothing and language. Methods of struggle based on non-violence. They found in Gandhiji a savior who could solve their problems. Now let us move on to the next topic, early struggles of Mahatma Gandhi. നമുക്കറിയാം, ഒരു അഡ്വക്കേറ്റായി ഗാന്ധിജി ദക്ഷിണാഫ്രിക്കയിലേക്ക് പോയതും അവിടെ ട്രെയിനിൽ വെച്ച് അദ്ദേഹത്തിനുണ്ടായ ഒരു കൈപ്പേറിയ അനുഭവം അന്ന് അവിടെ നിലനിന്നിരുന്ന വർണ്ണവിവേചനത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് മനസ്സിലാക്കാനും അതിനെതിരെ പോരാടാനും അദ്ദേഹത്തെ പ്രേരിപ്പിച്ചത്. നോൺ യൂറോപ്യൻസിന് നേരിട്ടിരുന്ന വർണ്ണവിവേചനത്തിനെതിരെയായിരുന്നു ഗാന്ധിജിയുടെ പോരാട്ടം സൗത്ത് ആഫ്രിക്കയിൽ വെച്ച് നടന്നത്. അതിനുശേഷം 21 വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് ശേഷമാണ് അദ്ദേഹം ഇന്ത്യയിലേക്ക് വന്നതും ഇന്ത്യയിൽ അന്ന് നിലനിന്നിരുന്ന പ്രാദേശിക പ്രശ്നങ്ങളിൽ ഇടപെട്ടുകൊണ്ടായിരുന്നു അദ്ദേഹം സമരരംഗത്തേക്ക് വന്നത്. Mainly 3 of the regional struggles in which Gandhiji was involved after returning to India from South Africa. They are the struggle of indigo farmers in Champaran in Bihar in 1917. Second one, Ahmedabad cotton mill strike in Gujarat in 1918. Third, peasant struggle in Kheda, Gujarat in 1918. Let us discuss in detail. In Champaran, Gandhiji resorted to disobedience of the British rules and satyagraha, and his involvement compelled the authorities to pass laws in favor of the indigo farmers. After his struggle in Champaran, Gandhiji worked for the progress of Champaran region by establishing primary schools, initiating medical aids and involving in cleaning activities. The next one, Ahmedabad cotton mill strike. cotton mill workers in Ahmedabad started their strike in 1918 when they were denied plague bonus. നമുക്കറിയാം അന്ന് പകർച്ചവ്യാധിയായിട്ടുള്ള പ്ലേഗ് പടർന്നു പിടിച്ചിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ വർക്കേഴ്സ് അത് പേടിച്ച് ജോലിയിൽ നിന്ന് വിട്ടുപോകാതിരിക്കാൻ അവർക്ക് നൽകിയിരുന്ന എക്സ്ട്രാ എമൗണ്ട് കൊടുത്തിരുന്നു. അത് പിൻവലിച്ചു. അതിനെതിരെയായിരുന്നു ആ വർക്കേഴ്സ് സമരം നടത്തിയിരുന്നത്. Gandhiji got involved in this strike and adopted the same method of protest that he used in Champaran. Following his satyagraha, the authorities agreed to hike the wages of the employees and the workers' strike came to an end. Next one, peasant struggle in Kheda. Due to drought and crop failure, farmers in Kheda were living in utter misery. The rulers decided to collect tax from the poor villagers. Starting Satyagraha in 1918, Gandhiji protested against the decision. He advised people not to pay tax. Consequently, the authorities were forced to reduce the tax rates. His early struggles based on Satyagraha and Ahimsa made Gandhiji a popular leader. Let us see the result of the early struggles that Gandhiji took up in India. The struggles he took up popularized his ideologies and method of protest. Till his entry into the political scenario, national movement was confined to the educated section of the society. His method of protest attracted the laymen to the movement. The city-centric national movement spread to rural areas. Gandhiji became a national leader acceptable to all strata of the society. Let us move on to the next topic, towards national movement. This section describes the circumstances that led Gandhiji to lead the Indian national movement. ഗാന്ധിജി ദക്ഷിണാഫ്രിക്കയിൽ നിന്ന് തിരിച്ച് ഇന്ത്യയിലെത്തി പ്രാദേശിക സമരങ്ങളിലായിരുന്നു ആദ്യം പങ്കെടുത്തിരുന്നത്. അതിനുശേഷം അദ്ദേഹം ഇന്ത്യൻ ദേശീയ പ്രസ്ഥാനത്തിൻ്റെ മുഖ്യ വക്താവായി മാറി. Gandhiji entered Indian national movement with his protest against the Rowlatt Act. Do you know what is Rowlatt Act? In the pretext of preventing extremist activities, the British Parliament passed the Rowlatt Act in 1919, limiting the civil rights of the Indians. A best example of one such law imposed by the British in the colonies is called the Rowlatt Act. As per this act, any person could be arrested and imprisoned without trial. Indian leaders decided to protest against this act. The protest led to an important incident happened in Indian history. Yes, that is Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Let us look at how the Jallianwala Bagh incident affected the Indian national movement. Jallianwala Bagh massacre. People gathered at Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar on 13th April 1919 to protest against the arrest of Saifuddin Kichlu and Satyabal, who led the anti-Rowlatt Act agitations in Punjab. The city was under the control of the army. Accusing that the protesters violated his instructions, the Army Chief General Dyer ordered to shoot without warning. The innocent, armless people were trapped as the ground was surrounded by buildings and the only entrance was blocked by the armed British soldiers. As per the British records, the shooting of 10 minutes killed 379 protesters. In fact, the death toll was actually double this. റൗലത്ത് ആക്ടിനെതിരെ പ്രതിഷേധിച്ച ജനക്കൂട്ടത്തിന് നേരെ ജനറൽ ഡയർ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ആജ്ഞ അനുസരിക്കാതിരുന്ന ജനക്കൂട്ടത്തിന് നേരെ വെടിവെക്കാനായിരുന്നു അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഓർഡർ. നിരപരാധികളായ ഒരുപാട് ഇന്ത്യക്കാർ അവിടെ കൊല ചെയ്യപ്പെട്ടു. The Jallianwala Bagh incident aroused the conscience of the people, and instead of frightening them, the people were ready to fight for Indian independence with more vigor. The massacre at Jallianwala Bagh intensified the protest at the national level. Gandhiji said, if the Battle of Plassey laid the foundation for the British rule, Jallianwala Bagh shook the foundation. ബാറ്റിൽ ഓഫ് പ്ലാസിയിലൂടെ ആയിരുന്നു, അതിലുള്ള വിജയത്തിലൂടെ ആയിരുന്നു ബ്രിട്ടീഷുകാർ അവരുടെ ഭരണം ഇന്ത്യയിൽ ഉറപ്പിച്ചത്. പക്ഷേ ആ ഭരണത്തിന് ഇളക്കം തട്ടിച്ച സംഭവമായിരുന്നു ജാലിയൻവാല ബാഗ് കൂട്ടക്കൊല. ഓക്കെ, വാട്ട് വി ഹാവ് ഡിസ്കസ് ടുഡേ? early struggles of Gandhiji and the result of the early struggles, and towards the national movement, and Rowlatt Act and Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Go through the text well. If any doubts, clarify it with me. Okay, we will continue in the next class. Bye.